Hello, welcome to Turning Pages with Bree. So glad you are here spending some of your time with me on yet another video. As you can see, I'm in the car. So I'm not going to talk too long, but I wanted to go ahead and open up this vlog because if I didn't do it now, I may not do it and it'll just carry on and on because I've just been having a lot of things happening and different stuff going on. So anyways, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 books. And oh, thank you all subscribers. You know how it is. I appreciate every last one of you guys, and I appreciate anyone that has clicked on my little corner of the internet here in YouTube streets. And if you like me and I'm your vibe, then hang around, subscribe, do all the things. Okay. Otherwise, it's okay. I'm all right if I'm not everybody's cup of tea. But anywho, this video is going to be 3 books of me sharing with you how I'm enjoying the books. I'll try my best not to be giving any spoilers, but just giving you some of my honest reactions and my honest, feelings or recounts of some of the things that are going on in these books. So I'm going to do 3 this time. And the 3 books that I'm going to be sharing is Hopeless by Miss Colleen Hoover. And the second one is going to be Supreme by Miss Rae Andersen. It's the second book in this particular series. I enjoyed the first one, Saint, so much. I'm picking up the next one and I'm taking you along with me. I probably should have did if I really thought this through, I would have did just did a whole series, but whatever, it is what it is. And impromptu, this is real life. I probably am going to also be sharing with you Parachutes, the 3rd book. I think it's called The Impact. I'm going to be sharing some of that with you because I am reading that on my Kindle, and it is extremely good. I'm probably going to kind of wait for the audio to come out. It comes, well, you know what? I don't know if I am going to wait. Anyways, I'm probably going to be sharing with you some of that, but I don't know that I'm going to complete it and finish it. So we'll see how that goes. But the official 3rd book in this video is going to be Real by Miss Kennedy Ryan. Okay. Because all 3 of these books, I actually have the audio. Oh, except Rae Andersen's book. There's no audio for it, but I will sometimes let Alexa read it to me. Oh, hold on. And so anyways, when I do that, it speeds up the process. So I'll see how that goes, but I'll be sharing with you throughout this particular vlog, all 3 of these books and some of Parachutes, possibly, while I'm reading. I'll see. I don't know. You know how it goes. Things change in a drop of a hat. So it depends on how far I am along with these books, if I include some of Parachutes or if I just do Parachutes, the 3rd one by itself. But anywho, this is what this video is going to be about. If it's your jam, if you want to know something about these particular books, then hang around, stay with me. If not, keep moving on these YouTube streets. All right. I will be back when I have some more to share about. Oh, you know what? Let me tell you, because I have officially started. I haven't started Hopeless and I haven't started Real yet, but I'm going to be picking both of those up today. I have actually started Rae Andersen's Supreme, and it's good. It's good already. I am about 20-something% into it, and I'm just reading it on my Kindle. So you guys, know it's a little slower when I'm reading on my Kindle because I don't have as much time to read with my eyes. But I'm liking it. It is dealing with the main male character, which is the brother to Saint. Okay, it's one of his brothers. And the main female character is, and I can't remember people's names. Oh my gosh. I'll remember it sometime. I can't remember her name. But anywho, she's in a relationship. She's in a marriage that is not It is not a good situation. And she has kids. And there has been an incident at the very beginning that causes her to have to be in the hospital. And she's basically, we meet her in her car leaving from the hospital, right? She's about to, or she's trying to, head home. But there is a extreme snowstorm that has basically just started, and it's really, really bad. And so she's basically stuck. And that's when enters the main male character, Supreme, to save the day. Okay, somewhat. So that's how they ended up meeting in the very beginning. So it is extremely good and extremely interesting already in the very beginning of the story. It ties you in their little meeting and what transpires between them. And it's not anything spicy at this point. It's just their meeting and what causes them to be in each other's proximity, and how that plays out is extremely interesting. So it's already going to draw you in if you are a romance girly and like a good story. So anyways, just want to share that piece with you. I will come back on when I have more to share with you, more details about these books, and well, I'll see you soon. Okay, so have started Real. Only about 6 chapters in, so still at the very beginning. I don't like to give away spoilers, so I will not. But the book opens up telling you a prologue, which is 20 years prior, the backstories of the two main characters and kind of their where they're coming from. And then it brings you up to date into 20 years ahead, the present day, and how they meet. Neva is the main female character, and Cannon is the main male character. And just like you would expect in Kennedy Ryan's books, it captures you with those first few pages, those first, that prologue of telling you the story of these two people and who they are and where they come from, kind of like laying the foundation. She does that so well in these books. And so this does not disappoint. You are going to be drawn in right there in the beginning, which to me, and in my opinion, with any book, to get the reader engaged, you do need to capture them in those first few chapters, that beginning part. And this is one that does that. So it already has me in a chokehold to where I want to pick this up continuously. I don't know about you. It's just finding out these interesting facts, these interesting things about these two people, in their background, and then bringing you up to present day and how they are meeting and what is going to essentially bring them together, draws your reader in, and it makes the book all that more telling. Like, I need to know. So anyways, just wanted to share that I have started Real, and it is already vastly interesting. Cannot wait to read more into this book, but of course, you know what it is. Gotta work. All right, be back with you later. So had to pop back in because I am a little bit farther in all of the books, okay? In Hopeless, in Real, and in Supreme. I think that's the 3 that I'm sharing with you guys. And so wanted to share, first up, Miss Kennedy Ryan's Real. Okay, so when I first was talking to you about it on the last little clip, I had just started it. So now I am much farther in. I'm about 50% in. I'm about 200 some odd pages in. And so almost 50%, because I'm not sure. It's like 400 and something. So anyways, I'm closer to the midpoint, if not at the midpoint. And I'm listening and reading at the same time. So kind of immersive reading this one for the majority of it. Some of it I do get up and I have to, just strictly listen. But anywho, I am at the point in the book where the main the two main characters, okay, Canon and however you say her name, Nevea, no, whatever. Anyways, I am at the point where they are finding themselves in an intimate situation. They haven't done anything per se except kind of lust after one another, but they are in close proximity right now, and they are at the point where they are about to make a choice. And so I haven't read beyond to see if they actually, but this is the first sort of love scene that we're about to get into, possibly. I haven't read beyond that point, so I don't know if we're actually going to get there, but we'll see. But it's very heated right now. They are in a close encounter situation where they are alone, and their attraction has been a build-up to this point on both sides. But I love Canon. I love his character so far. I love how he is just kind of caring of how he responds to her, and also how he handles her professionally, you know, so, and how he's handling his business professionally. And that, I think that says a lot from who he is, from how he grew up, because we get a little bit of the backstory of how his mother was with him and how she dealt with him. And I like how Kennedy Ryan opens up that storyline for us to see like a peek in to how he was reared to become this man that he is today, that is highly successful, but still very attentive and very loving toward people and toward the people that he surrounds himself with. I think that's really telling of who he is as a character. So I'm really liking him. I'm liking the character Canon, you know, I do like that. And the whole storyline of how he becomes who he is, you know, the little intricate things that she puts in there to kind of give you a glimpse of who this person is. And I'm also liking the main female character as well, with her flaws, with her telling flaws because of her history and what she had to come to terms with and deal with to be where she is in her life currently. And just the real openness of how the story embraces us as Black women and how we deal with the things that have happened to us in our younger lives that kind of prevail who we are in our older lives, and how we react to things and how we handle things, but how you move on from that. So anyways, I say all that to say the book is good. I am enjoying the read, and hence is why I'm almost 50% in, and it's only a couple days, and things have been definitely going on. It is Father's Day today, so I have been busy all morning and, you know, afternoons, so to speak, with my hubby, and now he is out with his boys doing some things for Father's Day on their own, which is great. Gives me a chance to come out and talk to you guys before I cook some dinner, probably dinner, because we had a big breakfast, and so we'll probably have a nice dinner. So anyways, moving right along, Hopeless. Okay, so I can't remember if I shared with you that I started Hopeless, but I don't know how much in. I'm over a third of the way in this book, and I am mostly listening to it. I picked the actual book up a few times and just kind of read along immersively as well, but not much. I've mostly been listening. This is an older Colleen Hoover book. If you didn't know, like me, I went in totally blind because I like to do that a lot of times with books. I don't like to know what they're about. So this one, just in case you would like to know, it is more young adult, okay? I did not know that because I'm not really a young adult fan, so much so, but I struggled with if I wanted to DNF it, but it's interesting enough to where I am intrigued to keep going at this point. Now, will I change my mind in another 100 pages? Could, possibly, but we'll see. But right now, I will say that the storyline has captured me enough to where I am buying in to want to know more, okay? with it being young adult, I hate, and they're not young, I mean, they're young, but they're like high school, okay? And so we open up, if I didn't already share, with something that has happened months prior, and it brings you backwards about 2 or 3 months throughout this first part of the book that I'm reading, these first, third of it. And it's going back and telling you what brought you up to that point, right? So in that, it is dealing with this young woman. Her name is Sky, and the young man, I think his name is Holder. That's his last name. They call him by his last name or whatever. But they're basically, we're learning their story. So she's doing character building in these first chapters, where she's telling you about who Sky is, her family relationship, and her best friend that is about to move away. Her name is Six. And so she's about to embark on a new journey in her young life with her parents moving away. So the main female character is dealing with the loss of the change, where her friend that she's been close to is leaving, because they live like next door to each other, I think. And so they're very close, but she's about to leave. And so she's dealing with that. And she's also dealing with a big change in school environment. She had been, I want to say she had been in a private school, and now she's moving to go into she's going to a public school for the first time. And her best friend Six, already had been going to the school, and so she gave her a lot of pointers, a lot of information to carry her through, to kind of help her navigate this public school world that she's embarking on. And so we get to kind of go along with her as she gets through her first days of being in this new school, and then running into meeting this main male character, Holder, that is going to be essentially the love interest, I guess, in this book. And so he's got a pass, and they end up meeting. I think it met at a store or something, by chance, so to speak. And it's an interesting meeting between the two of them. So you get the little banter between them. That is kind of like a push and pull situation. So you can already tell just from that encounter that, oh, okay, this is going to be the main character that we hear about in the first like prologue or first chapter, whatever, of the book. And so you know that this is dealing with him. And so he's got some backstory. He's got some struggles that he has overcome or been dealing with, and you're getting bits and pieces of that. And so that is what's making me a little bit interested into what's going on. I don't know how invested I am in knowing it, because at this point, like I said, it's just okay, because it's a young adult and I'm not a young adult fan. But I had this book holding on in my TBR, physical TBR, for so long, and I was like, I really want to pick it up. And I'm not opposed to giving authors that have like a little controversy going on, as long as they haven't did something that I think is really, really bad, I guess, I'm okay with giving them a shot and reading their book. So that's where I am with Hopeless. And we'll see how much I carry on with that. It's not bad. It's okay. The next one is Supreme. Okay, and this is book 2 by Miss Rae Andersen, and I am 46% into this book. This is on the Kindle. So I have been physically reading with my eyes only with this book, so that's why it's taking me a little longer, but I am enjoying it. And just like the first one, Saint, I enjoyed it. This one is different. This is dealing with one of the brothers that is in this, I guess it is a series, and it's dealing with the children. And the first one, we get Saint in his story. Now we're getting Supreme in his story, and how he ends up involved with the main female character, who is in a relationship because she's married with 2 kids. And so we get some interesting things that's going on with her in her relationship with her husband, and how it intertwines with her meeting Supreme, and how Supreme is kind of becoming that person for her, and he is falling head over heels in love with her. And so we're getting that whole story and how it's going to play out, and it's so interesting to me. It is kind of, I would say, not so much as a long drawn out thing, because it's almost insta love, and I don't like insta love all that much, but it's playing out enough, or well enough, to where I'm okay with it. So I'm interested, I'm buying in, and the story's good. So I am going to carry on, of course, because I think I like the way Ms. Andersen is writing these stories. And so I am going to definitely finish this one. And I will, of course, share with you more about how I'm feeling about this book. But right now I am buying in to the story. But it is, like, just so that you know, it's a little bit of an insta-love situation going on here, because they get hot and heated. Not on the very first meeting or anything, but it's not too far after that they start really becoming vastly interested in each other. I'll just say that. And so I'm like, do I buy into that it's gonna go from hot to cold, or cold to hot? You know, can we get cold, lukewarm, a little bit warmer, a little bit hot? You know what I'm saying? Can we have the build up just a little bit more before we just dive right in? They kind of dive right in, so we'll see. But anyways, I'll come on, of course, when I have more to talk about with these 3 stories, these 3 books that I am reading. Hopefully you are enjoying the information, and maybe one of these are something you want to pick up. So see you next time. All right, quick update. All right, Hopeless. I have continued on, and I am almost halfway, I would say, through the book. It is still young adult. It hadn't changed. But it's still interesting enough to where I want to keep reading, which is a good thing. It's not like the best book I've ever read. Okay, so let's just clear that up. It's not so fascinating that I want to say, oh, you got to go out and read this. But I will tell you that the storyline is interesting enough. It's got me engaged and intrigued to want to know what's going on next. So that's why I keep reading, keep listening on to it. The main characters, okay, because I don't want to give the story away, but I will tell you that the main female character, she's got some strange stuff with her about how she is dealing with her sexuality, and not that she is so far-fetched or different. It's just that she has, in her little bit of life she's lived, she has not been responsive in a normal way that you would with a boy, even though she's had, you know, opportunities, okay, to be engaged with a boy. She's just not really felt anyone up until this main male character comes into her life, Holder, and her name is Sky again. So Sky really gets this new found emotion that goes along with meeting Holder that she is just not used to getting about a boy, even though she's been, of course, in the presence of boys. And at this point has not had any actual intercourse, but she is finding this just really intriguing, how she is now responding to this boy in this way that is so different from where she's responded to other guys that she's been engaged in activity with, but not going all the way. So anyways, it's just a little, like I said, a little interesting, the storyline, to where I at least want to keep picking it up to finish out what's going to happen. And I also find it kind of interesting, the story behind the main male character, Holder, and his issues, and how he is responding to her, but how they are actually responding to one another as well, in learning each other's, differences, and engaging with the fact that they both kind of are finding out they like each other, and finding out who each other are to one another. So anyways, it's just an interesting read. I'm going to continue on. I try my best to tell you guys about it, but not give away the actual story. The next one, and like I said, I'm almost halfway through. The next one I'm of course reading is Supreme by Miss Rae Andersen. And this one is moving along still very well, still got me very interested. I'm about 60% in, I think, at this point. Yeah, I'm 62% in. And I've only read this one with my eyes. I have not listened to it at all with Alexa or anything. So it's taking me a little bit longer to get through it, but I am getting through it. And I'm enjoying the book. It is got a lot going on. I cannot say that it's surprising how the story is going along, but what's pissing me off within this storyline, because you do deal with some difficult things between the main female character, I can't think of her name, Sadie, and what she's dealing with her husband. This does have somewhat of a cheating trope, but it's understood because her husband is an ass. He's a dick. And so because of that, you find yourself, okay, I can accept and deal with the cheating situation, because why are you even still with this man? But anyways, coming from how she was raised and how her husband came into her life and became who he is to her, is why she is allowing herself to go through these things with her husband. And so you got to kind of understand her headspace, in which, I can't really relate to it, but I can tell you that I almost want to jump in the book and tell her, look, quit playing. You should have been left long time ago. But anywho, and the main male character, Supreme, he is got the patience of Job dealing with her. I mean, I'm gonna just be very honest. He has got the patience of Job. Most men would have walked away a long time ago, because she is a married woman. She has 2 kids. She's emotionally unstable somewhat, and she's hard-headed. And so he's really got to be smitten with her, and he's a billionaire. I mean, come on now. How does that, this is a book. This is not reality. So anywho, it's good. It's very interesting. I'm enjoying this. I'm glad I found Miss Rae Andersen. Thank you again for, I think, I don't want to mess up her name, but I'll have her handle up here. I think it's Jordan. She's really good. And she recommended the first one I read of this series, Saint. And so that made me want to go ahead and read the second one in the series, which is this Supreme. So that's the second brother. So anyways, I'm enjoying that. And moving right along, the last one I want to talk about a little bit is Miss Kennedy Ryan. I am about 60%, I'm almost 60% into this book, I think. So I'm close toward, I'm getting there. And it is interesting. Can't say that enough, but it's good. I know a lot of people have mixed reviews about Real, but I'm enjoying it, even though, you do get a little lost, I think, in the storyline, in the pieces that come in talking about the movie, okay? Because it kind of throws into the story scenes from the movie that the main female character is portraying. And so you're all of a sudden, thrown into that world, and you're like, what? And they're telling you about this character that she's playing in this movie, and you're like, okay, what is going on? And what I almost want to say, what's the purpose of that? But it makes the book flow. I am enjoying the actual storyline of the 2 characters, the 2 main people. I am enjoying their story, and her backstory and what she's had to deal with, and now coming to terms all these years later, dealing with her sister and her mom back in her life somewhat. That whole piece is very interesting. I can't imagine you reading this book and not gravitating to understand where she's coming from, for sure. But just having to deal with that. But then I'm also a little teed at her mom for not being there for her like she was there for her sister. Even though, I get her. I'm not going to give the spoilers away, but I'm going to say when you read it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I'm enjoying this. This is a really good read, and I am so glad I picked it up. If you have not heard of Real or have not picked it up, this one is a good one, y'all. It's Kennedy Ryan. I mean, she's one of those that it's going to be hard pressed to find something that you don't like about her books, because she is very engaging in her writing, and this does not fail. I am so glad I'm at the point where they have finally hooked up in this book. So I was angsty about that, but they finally have hooked up. So I am glad to be there and in that world. So anyways, I just want to come on and share a little bit of that with you guys. And when I have more to talk about, maybe ending the rest of reading all of these books, I will come back on and share with you my final thoughts. All right, see you soon. All right, so I am about 90% done with Real. Okay, where's Real? It's right here. Okay. So I wanted to come on because, of course, I'm going to finish Real today, okay? And I wanted to come on and share with you guys where I am with Real, because I'm not going to talk, I don't think I'm going to talk, I probably will talk about it once I do finish it. But at this point, I wanted to share just some of my thoughts. Just, some of what I am, feeling about this book, because I went into it and started out thinking it was going to be London, stop that. I went into it thinking, of course it was going to be about this rising, star, obviously, becoming, an actress, and her director, and her getting involved, which is the premise of the story. And that is, what, if you've read about it or listened to anybody talk about it, or look at I'm sure if you look at the synopsis, which I have not and never really did, it probably shares that. However, it takes a deep turn, to the left, or to the mile to the left, with what happens in this storyline. And because I have been affected, and I'm not going to go into it too deep, but I will tell you that it definitely broke some barriers in my heart already with where the storyline ends up going, because I have personally been affected in my life by what the main female character is dealing with in the story. And you'll have to read the story to find out, because I'm not going to talk about it. But I will tell you that because of how it goes in deep in what she is dealing with medically, and how it happens so fast, from, you being okay and normal, or feeling okay and normal, or at least it seems like it's happening fast, right? Because when you become, ill, gravely ill, with something, a lot of times it is over time. But because you are living your life, like most of us, we are living our lives. And especially if you are affected because you are in close proximity to that person, because of your relationship with that person, whether it's a brother, father, sister, mother, whatever. and it's not just your actual self. It's not happening to you per se, but you are highly affected by it. It seems like it's just kind of quick because, number one, you're not the one that it's happening to. And then when you are brought in, a lot of times to find out about it, it's after, you know what I'm saying? Because that person in your life has to grapple with it first. And a lot of times you may not get to grapple with that at all until it's at the dire part of it. And so I say all that to say that, you know, these books, definitely you have to you need to pay attention to trigger warnings. And I don't even know if this was a trigger warning that was given at all, but I will tell you that it's done very tastefully, the way that it is explained, the way that it is dived into. But being someone that has lived that world and now had to navigate it in a real life, you know, day-to-day situation, I'm somewhat of an expert because I have had to have that as a part of my day-to-day. And so I'm not going to, well, I say I'm an expert. I'm an expert in handling it for sure, because I had no other choice but to dive in hands-on and get with the program, as they say, because you don't have time to not get with the program, because this is your life and this is what it is turning into. And so what this actress, what Neva and Cannon embark upon in their relationship, and having to face that so quickly because their relationship kind of starts abruptly, and then this happens, and it doesn't give a lot of space and time to accept much else, you know, because this is just what it is and this is what it's going to be. And it was tastefully done and thought-provoking and just typical Kennedy Ryan style. I love the way that she brings a story together, just makes you think about different things. And it's a love story, but it's more than a love story. It's a life story. It is history. It is what people generally are going through in their real lives. And I love how she brought this in a story in this manner. And that's just one part of it, right? That's just one thing that's thought-provoking in this story, Real, which is such a telling title because these are real situations. And then the other part of it is her having to grapple with her past and what has happened with her family and the changes that her now life has collided with what her past what happened in the past had to be brought to the forefront to then assume we've got to deal with this now, whether you want to or not. You know, it was just interesting. It is just interesting. It is a good book. It's a great read. I am so glad that I took the time out to put this in my reading TBR, to physical TBR to read today, or not today, but this month, because honestly, I could have read it a year ago. It definitely deserves that and makes me even more eager to read Score, because I do have Score now, and so want to dive into that. It's just a good read. I am enjoying it immensely. I only have 10% left, but I'm gonna almost hate to see it go because I am enjoying it. So this is, in my opinion, going to end up probably being a 5-star read for me. I can say that honestly because of the storyline, the writing, the emotions that it brings out, the love story of it all. And I just love a good story where you feel something. And to me, if a story makes you feel something, if a book makes you feel something, then yes, that is a 5-star read. That's one of my defining characteristics of a 5-star read. Okay, so, and the next one, where did I do with this book? Okay. Hopeless. Hopeless by Miss Colleen Hoover. Okay, let's just say this. Of course, this is YA, and I said that already, but I'm going to tell you, it makes me just, after reading almost 60%, I think I'm around 60 or so percent into this book. I'm reading it slowly, in my opinion, because I'm not picking it up as much, because it's just not grabbing me the way I want to, because it is YA. And I think that, just after reading this one, I am going to make sure that I pay attention to the book that I picked to read, not just go in too blindly, because I'm not feeling YA right now. I think it's not that I don't want to read, or it is that I don't want to read it, but it's not that I don't like it. It's just that I have to be in a mood for it to deal with the young situations, the young stuff. I've got to be ready for that. And I'm really right now not really ready for it, but I'm just kind of ready to get through it. And I'm just ready to be done with it, because it's YA. Okay, that's all I can say. It's okay. It's not a bad book. Like I said, if I'm in the mood for it, it probably would be just fine. But it's just not where I am right now to where I want to read this. But I'm going to finish it because I'm 60% in, and we are still dealing with the two main characters. There has been something that has happened with that main female character, Sky, in her past, because it kind of keeps going back 13 years prior, and giving you snippets of things that is going on and happened when she was younger with her biological mother and father. I don't know if I shared that in the beginning, kind of tells you that she is adopted. So her mother is her adopted mother that she has. Something has happened, obviously 13 years prior, that caused her to be needing to be adopted. And so anyways, from what I can tell, it's something to do with her father. I don't know what it is. I haven't gotten to that detail yet, but it's something I think pretty tragic, that has caused her father not to be at play, because he is alive. I think the father is alive, but her mother is gone. Her mother has passed. And so anyways, it's some interesting things that has happened to bring her to who she, or to have her who she, I cannot talk. It's some things that have happened in her past that is obviously how bringing out who she is now in her present. So that's the person that we're dealing with. And different fact about this young lady is her adopted mom doesn't allow like any electronics at all. Like they don't have a TV, they don't have computers, they don't have anything. She has a Kindle. She's allowed to have a Kindle, and she just got a phone just recently in this book. So she didn't even have a phone. Okay, so she wasn't familiar with texting or any of that. And so, and this is in the year, this book is written for them being in the year 2012. So definitely phones were a thing, but she did not have any of the electronics or any of the things that normal people walk around having these days, or even in 2012. She didn't have it. She didn't even know what Netflix was. Okay, so she wasn't familiar with any of that. And so, and being that she's 17, I think she starts out 17 or 18 years old, that is amazing. Okay, so that in itself is a story. Somebody walking around, a teenager these days, even in 2012, and not having, at 17 or 18, not having any type of devices except just getting their first phone at 18 years old. That's interesting. So it's good. It's not a bad book. It's just it's a lot of angsty push and pull in the storyline. I will tell you that much. But it makes me, like I said, really identify with my own self, is that I'm not a YA reader much. I have to just really be in the mood to want to read about the young adults in that way. And I don't know. I just, and it may be too because I just read a YA not long ago, and I think I have to have YAs in small doses. So the YA that I read prior, it was really good. It was my first Christina Forrest book, Zyla and Kai, and that was a really good book. I enjoyed that book. I really, really did, even though it was YA. I enjoyed it, I think, in my opinion, even though I'm 60%, I enjoyed it better than I'm enjoying this, for sure. But this is not bad. It's just, you know when you know. Supreme. I'm going to wait and talk to you about Supreme when I am further along. I am about 70% in, so I am close to being done. But I'm going to reserve, because I've talked to you about that already some, so I'm going to reserve a little more time to the next time I pop on to share more about Supreme, because this is a good book. Like I said, it's a new to me author. I've only read that one book by her, but I can see she's definitely, she's a rising star. She's not the best I've read for sure, but definitely I'm enjoying her writing style. I'm enjoying the story. I really am enjoying the story. It is interesting. It's not, and up there with some of the top tiers, but it definitely is an enjoyable story to me. And it makes me want to go ahead and read the next one in this particular series to close it out. I think it's only one or two left after that. So anyways, I will come back on when I have more to share, more to talk about with these books, and I'll see you soon. Okay, so I wanted to come back on and share a couple more things about this book, Real. So properly titled. One is, of course, giving Kennedy Ryan her flowers for just doing such a great job of the representation of someone dealing with being ill and still being loved, in spite of all of that person still seeing them for the beautiful person they are in spite of what they look like. That is just so needed in the world. That is just so needed by women, I think, because we strive a lot of times to be so perfect, or to be so beautiful on the outside. And for a book to show that representation, that you don't have to be perfect, you don't have to be all glammed up and beautiful all the time, for someone to see you and to recognize the beauty in you and to love that part of you, to love when you aren't your best and to still want you. And that is an important piece of, I think, this particular book right now that I am reading, that I'm getting from this book. But I think she does a good job in other books that she's written of just showing how being in a relationship with a man, and him being able to identify with that woman on a deeper level than your hair and your eyes and your physical features, but being able to identify that you are beautiful because I want you and you are the one for me. And just creating that sounding board for it is just a wonderful thing. And giving Miss Kennedy Ryan her flowers, I want to just do at this point. And I've, of course, read other books by her and have enjoyed them immensely as well. But this is a really beautiful book. It's a beautiful story. And I just love the way she's tying so many different things together to come out with such a real story that people can identify with on so many different levels, in so many different ways. And I just had to pop back on and share that little tidbit. I'm almost finished with it. I'm down to like the last probably 10 or 15 pages, but I wanted to share because it was just on my heart. And so I'll come back. Okay, so had to come back on because got a little farther with Hopeless by Miss Colleen Hoover, okay? And I would say probably at the, I don't know, I forgot what page it's on, but it's like, because this is not chaptered, this book is not chapters, it's dated. So it's giving you the dates and like the time period in each, so to speak, chapter. Okay, so more than 50%, probably like 65%, okay, mark of this book is when the script gets flipped and things change and it becomes quite interesting, well more than what I was. It took me a minute. It took, like I said, about 65% to get to the real, okay, now this book is good. I'm interested. I'm wanting to know what's going on. I'm there now. And I see the point of the buildup. Had no idea that it was going to take this particular twist. This is why I like Colleen Hoover's books, because she does write well, in my opinion. The books that I have read from her so far, pretty much all of them I have been able to enjoy. In this one, now I can state from this point, it is interesting. It's still YA, so I don't like the YA part of it all. But this portion, y'all, it is good. When you get down to this point, this is where you find out what is really going on, what is really happening with this storyline, and where it's coming from. And I had no idea. It totally took me by surprise. So I am gonna change my view a little bit because I didn't expect this. I did not expect this at all. And I just wanted to come on and give you my real time, reaction, because I was listening, working, doing, the stuff that I was doing, and stuff just went totally left. Caught me all the way off guard. If you've read this book, Hopeless, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, if you're thinking about it, just stay with it until you get to the 60% or more. Then it's going to start coming together and becoming very interesting. Up until this point, I was almost at a DNF because I just was like over it a little bit and couldn't take any more of some of the back and forth, but I was like, I'm gonna just go ahead and push through, and I'm so glad I did. And this is another reason why I like reading books and going in blind. And this is why I do what I do when I tell you I'm doing this my way of a vlog, because I don't want to give you all the information about this book and then you can't get that same experience. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully I'm doing this justice by telling you somewhat about the book and my reactions and how I'm feeling, but not spoiling it for you, because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I want you to get that same, option to enjoy the book and experience it for the first time. Because I don't even, like I said, I didn't even read the synopsis of this. So I like doing that a lot of times with the books that I pick up, because I just want to know when I'm finding out. I don't want to know ahead of time. It's a surprise, and it's a good surprise in a good way. And one other thing I wanted to come on and tell you guys, because I finished Real now, because I told you I was going to finish. I had not much left. And yes, it's still a 5-star read. 5, 6, whatever you want to call it. But couple of things, and I wrote it down, and one of the things that was in the book that I thought was very prevalent and needed to be expressed and shared. She said on there, hurt people holler loud, and they do. That is just one of those statements that is so true. A person that is hurt, they are gonna holler. And I love the way that she used that in the book and how true it is. It's just what a true statement. A person that hurts, they're gonna holler, they're gonna make noise, they're gonna be seen, they're gonna be heard. more than likely because they're hurt, and that's their way they're expressing it. So that's of course not giving anything away, but that was just a quote that I thought that's worth sharing and pulling out from Real. And also another thing I wanted to share about Real was I never knew, and I've been reading Kennedy Ryan for years now, but I did not know that that's her pen name. I don't know if you all knew that, but that is actually her pen name. That's not her actual real name. And I just thought, fun fact, that was something that I was not aware of. Did you know that? Because I didn't. But anyways, wanted to share those two little tidbits with you about Real. And I actually found the tidbit about her using her pen name, Kennedy Ryan, from listening to her being interviewed by, what's the girl's name? An anchor, one of the, I can't think of her name, but she always is interviewing different authors all the time on CBS. I think she's on CBS. Anyways, Jenna, that's her, Jenna Bush. She interviews like all the authors all the time, and she was interviewing her recently. So if you want to check that out, go pull up Jenna Reads. I think it's Jenna something, and she has Kennedy Ryan on there for her latest interview, and she shares a whole lot of good tidbits. I enjoyed that interview. It was very good. But anyways, I'll be back as I continue to finish out this vlog. Hopefully this will be my last entry, the next one, because I am close to being finished with Hopeless, okay? And I am 70% into Supreme. So between now and the next time I come back on, next day or two, I'll be finishing that up, and then we'll be done with this particular vlog. So hopefully you're enjoying it. Okay, so I have completed Hopeless, which I figured I would because it got so good. Like I said, at that about 60% mark, I was double down and all in. And so it went into an even more unexpected twist and turn. Man, that last about 35-40%, y'all, that changed this whole book, my whole opinion of this book. It took to get to that point, and I'm glad I stuck it out to get to that point, to get to the good stuff. And once you were in the good stuff, you stayed in it. I think that it's very emotional. I'm glad that I did not read the trigger warnings or read the synopsis, but honestly, a lot of people may want to because of the emotional ride that happens within this storyline. It's quite deep. It's quite telling. It's very, very traumatic because it's dealing with things that I'm not gonna mention, because like I said, I want you to be able to find out on your own. But when I tell you this young woman, Sky, the main character, and Dean Holder, the way in which their story completes itself and comes around full circle, so to speak, it's just phenomenal, and you are not going to expect it. Mouth dropped open and just wow. Very much appropriately titled Hopeless for this book title. Definitely titled correctly, but I did not expect this, and it's sad. This is a sad read, if I must say. It's dealing with some definite strong trigger warnings there. If you are not comfortable with reading about things that have to do with abuse, this is probably not going to be a good pick, because it delves into it, not in a bad way, or I ain't gonna say it's all bad, but not in a descriptive way, so to speak, too much, but just on page talking about what happened that it happened, to a child. That in itself is just devastating, and it wasn't, like I said, a lot of descriptiveness about what happened, but the mere fact that it happened and it was happening to a child is it's a lot. But the book was, in my opinion, it was a really good book. Once you got to that 60% mark, up until then, I know that had to be done to build the story the way that she wrote it. I mean, it had to be done that way, I guess. But my only thing I would say is that if it were me, I would have cut out some of the stuff that was described in the first 60%, the first half, to shorten that so that you could get to the good stuff. Or maybe written it a different way, because it was just kind of almost getting on my nerves. But I'm glad I stuck it out. So this one, definitely a good read. Man, got me in my feels. The other book, Supreme, by Miss Rae Andersen. I am about 82% in, about a little over an hour left in this book, but I am going to close out this vlog right here with this one, because I know that I kind of know where it's going, and I don't think it's much more that I need to read about to be able to share my final thoughts with you. Even though I'm not at the very end, I am close enough, and because something traumatic happened that I was not expecting. I tell you, I didn't have some emotional reads here. All three of these books were very emotional, but this one here, I did not expect what happens to her best friend. Very unexpected. Was not ready for that. And I will not say what it is, but I'll tell you that if you read the book, you're going to know what I'm talking about. And threw me off guard. And I don't know how I feel about that, because I don't know that I wanted that to happen or go down that way. This one, again, deals with abuse, not of a child or anything. Well, no, I'm sorry. It does deal with abuse in different situations. And you'll see. If you read it, you'll see. So it is some trigger warnings that probably need to be looked at before you read and pick up this, because it is dealing with abuse by the main female character's husband, and the things that he has done. Again, kind of like from where the story real, hurt people, and he definitely, the main female character's husband, he is a hurt person. We don't get all his backstory about why he is what way he is, but the way that he snaps and changes, that there's some mental breakdown there going on with him, to where he is not capable of being a good husband or a good father to the children. And he allows for that space and opportunity for someone to step in. And oh boy, does Supreme step in. He steps right on in, steps right on up, and becomes daddy in every sense of the word. Daddy for mama and daddy for the kids. And that's just keeping it all the way 100. And it's beautiful, because his story is similar to where his background is from. If you read the story, you'll know what I'm talking about, because it is almost, what am I trying to say? It is, I can't think of the word right now, but it is nice that he identifies with her on the level that he identifies with her, because of his background and how him and his mom were. And so, or were and are. So anyways, I love the way this story is turning out. It is definitely a good read. I have enjoyed reading the story. Can't wait to finish it up and pick up the next one in the series. And I'm just going to leave it at that. These three books have done me right. I am really pleased that I picked these three, and hopefully I will pick 3 more for the next vlog that will be just as good or even better. I'm not really doing the rating thing. Like I said, I mean, I don't know. They're good. I mean, if I have to rate them, I would probably say Supreme would be 3.5 to 4 star for me, I guess. And Hopeless about the same. And Real, definitely 5, 6, 7, 8 star, in my opinion. But I'm not really, like I said, reading is subjective, and I might give them all 5 stars, because if you are writing this book to where I'm feeling emotions and wanting to constantly pick it up, then you're doing a good job. And all 3 of these books did just that. They made me want to pick them up, want to continue to read them, and I enjoyed all 3 of them. So I will see you guys on the next one, and hopefully you enjoyed this vlog.